you would like to listen to my lecture in a Vietnamese translation, please check the chat because we have a link to our Vietnamese interpretation. Furthermore, we today, Chanyu Jisha is going to request Dharma, and if you would like to be the Dharma requester like Chanyu, there's an opportunity. You just click on that link, send her an email, and we can set you up to be the Dharma requester. All right, we are going to ring the bell 3 times. And just 1 second, I've got to get my bell. And I invite everybody to join me in making a half bow from where you are sitting. And then Chanyu will do the Dharma request. Okay, are we ready to start our bows? 我们现在行3个问心礼。1问心，2问心，3问心。Chanyu, if you would like to request Dharma, please go ahead and do it now.
恭请大德僧，为此法会，济一切众生，请转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死，离苦得乐，速证无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to live suffering and attain bliss and end birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suche doye olahadi samya samputoshe.
Namo sadanto suche doye alahdi samyao samputoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. 好的，师父上人，各位师兄，大家阿弥陀佛。Venerable Master Dhamma friends, welcome again. Glad you're here with us. Please find a comfortable place to sit and strap in, buckle in, fasten your seatbelts. We're about to hear something quite amazing today about the life of Master M.P. Cloud and his continued string of some of you out and out miracles and other just good works accomplished through his own personal virtues. So that's what we're about to launch into. Let's see here. We would like to respectfully acknowledge the Kombu-Meri people of the Ugambe language region as traditional storytellers and custodians of the land where our monastery is located. We pay respects to our elders, to their elders past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 就说我们恭敬地承认与甘北语族的同步马里人是我们寺院所在地的传统叙事者和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向所有从来没有放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。L sound wide resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传3000界内，佛法扬万亿国中，共训其法界和平，利益报他那后的。Okay, there we go. Glad you're all here today. We want to confirm, and I'm going to ask Chun Yu, our fearless coordinator, again about next week in the United States. It is daylight savings next week, spring ahead, fall behind. So those of you currently, let's see, right at this moment, here it's 12:30, 12:37. In California, right this minute, it is 7:37. Fall behind. That means in California, in America next week, it's going to be 6:30. Is that correct? I want Chun Yu to confirm so we can announce. Shema?
Yes, in California, we'll start from 6:30 p.m. next week.
Okay, so next week in California, an hour earlier, 6:30. Here in the Gold Coast, we don't change. It's 12:30 after lunch here. And that means in China, it will be 10:30 as always. Taiwan, 10:30 as always, Hong Kong. But in California, we're going to slide the starting time back. So 6:30. If you know somebody who is listening, who is not, somebody who is not listening but who comes regularly, please pass the word on to them that next week in America, because of daylight savings, it'll be an hour earlier. Okay? Now, our tomorrow's sutra lecture, however, we do it differently. Tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. for our sutra lecture tomorrow, starting. Okay. 好的，那就清楚了。Okay, what's today's story? So, to give the background, Master Empty Cloud was passing through Yunnan province. He made a pilgrimage to Jizushan, Chickenfoot Mountain, the ancestral monastery given to Maitreya Bodhisattva. And he had had a mishap with a boat. He was injured. His feet and legs hit rocks in the water as he was being dragged behind a boat. This is years before. And he was freezing cold. He was injured. He was hungry. And he knocked at the door of a monastery, which, being a highly virtuous Sangha member, senior Sangha member, the monastery anywhere else in China would have instantly welcomed him, greeted him, honored him, and patched his wounds, fed him, warmed him up. Because Yunnan, the Buddha Dharma, had fallen into corruption, and cultivators had forgotten the principles of the Dharma that had been in place in China for thousands of years. As a result, he was just turned away. they wouldn't let him in. And he and his companion, Jie Chen Fa Shi, had to find shelter underneath a bandstand in just this throw-together wooden structure in the city where they were visiting. They had some money, so they went to the monastery again and said, please at least sell us some fuel that we can light a fire and keep ourselves warm. Well, they sold them moldy, damp wood that wouldn't, or grass that wouldn't burn. So not only were they insulted, they were actually cheated by the monks there. Now, what would you have done in a situation like that? I ask myself, what would I have done? What Master Empty Cloud did was he made a vow that he was going to bring the right Dharma back to Yunnan province. So he set about doing that. And now a decade has passed, and not even a decade, 5 or 6 years. And through his virtue and through his ability to influence people by their heart, by their feelings, he has not only rebuilt a monastery for it's called a Shifang Tonglin. It's a 10 directions monastery, public monastery where any monk can come, any monk who's formally ordained and can prove it with their precept certificate, Jie. Any monk can be welcomed and given food, given work, given a place to join the community. That's how the Buddha set it up. So he has also, not only that, he's built this monastery, he has brought a Tripitaka, a canon, 100 volumes of the Buddhist texts, from China, all the way from Beijing to distant Yunnan, up in the mountains. Furthermore, he has completely turned the culture of the Dharma around in Yunnan province so that monks know what it means to be a monk. The rascals, the ones who were corrupt and passing the monastery along Zicun Miao in a system of nepotism, passing it along inside of family connections and wealth and such, those monks have long disappeared. Either they were disrobed or they ran away. Furthermore, if that were not enough, there was a situation where after the monastery was built, Master Empty Cloud went to Beijing to get the Tripitaka and had to take a long route back through Bangkok, through Rangoon, because his teacher, Master Miaolian, had passed away in Penang, Malaysia. So it took years to get back. And in the meantime, local warlords had started to burn the monasteries, kill the monks, or put them in jail. So Empty Cloud went to Beijing and got the emperor, through his connections, he got the emperor to issue an edict which made that kind of behavior absolutely illegal and punishable. So this skinny monk who ate vegetables his whole life, who did nothing but cultivate the way, often they say when you went up to talk to Master Empty Cloud, he would only cast his eyes on the ground and recite the Buddha's name. He wouldn't necessarily answer direct questions to him, simply because he wanted to xian shan shuo fa. He wanted to teach the Dharma in person, by personal example. So he was this kind of guy, and no flash, nothing fancy, no glossy smiles or pats on the back. He simply cultivated the way, and as a result, changed the entire culture of the Buddhist culture, the religious culture of people in Yunnan province. How amazing that this, it's really the Tao in practice. This is what we're hearing, what we're describing is the way the Tao works. It works like water, which goes to the lowest places but benefits everybody equally. So, all right, So now he's there. You could say 天下太平, except it is not a peaceful time, because why? This is 1911. What else happened in China in 1911? We know that the imperial system of the dynastic rule came to an end after thousands and thousands of years in China. This was the birth of the Republic of China. So the entire country is in incredible turmoil at this point. It was not a smooth transition by any means. It was the beginning of warlords. But the emperor abdicated. He just left the throne, Emperor Puyi, and that was the end of the thousands of years of Chinese emperors. So that's the backdrop for our story today. Master Empty Cloud's, what did he do, given that we have the monastery now, we have a culture in Yunnan that is respectful to the Sangha. He is established himself as a authentic source of the Dharma. What happens next? You use that monastery that you've now built to do Dharma things. What do? Transmit the precepts. Xu Hui Ming Chuan Fo Jie, furthering the Buddha's wisdom life, transmitting the precepts. He's 72 years old. It's 1911, and here's the story. Xin Hai 72岁 公以培植法器 造就青年生财 春期传授前佛大戒 与诸圣寺 四方求戒者 恰满1000人 于53天内 如法次第僧士 沙弥比丘菩萨三坛大戒 圆满成就 心戒信受奉行 Okay. By the year 1911, at age 72, the master, wishing to mold Dharma vessels by educating young Sangha members, transmitted the great precepts of 1,000 Buddhas in the spring at Zhusheng Monastery. The monastery was filled to capacity with exactly 1,000 candidates from all over China. The transmitting masters completed the 53-day ceremony of transmitting the 3 great platforms of Shramanera, Bhikshu, and Bodhisattva precepts in accordance with the proper sequence and method. The new preceptees received them in faith and vowed to put them into practice. So the thing about our book that we're explaining is that Master Hua commissioned an artist in Hong Kong to draw a line drawing of all of these 200 episodes from Master Empty Cloud's 120-year-old life, 120-year-long life. So here is, you can see here's the bench, here's the preceptor, that's the Dejie Heshang, the Upadhyaya, the precept transmitting master is Master Empty Cloud. Here are his San Shi Qi Zheng, the 3 masters and 7 certifiers. Here's this lofty, vast hall that he rebuilt from nothing up on the mountain. And here, interesting, notice these people in the back of the picture have their hair. In fact, they're wearing their queues, they're wearing long pigtails. But in front of them, this is where the action is in this photo. All of these bald heads are the 1,000 men and women who are receiving the 3 mandalas of precepts, San Tan Ji Zu Da Jie. So that's really quite a lovely photo. We've blown it up so that some of the details are missing, but that was the original image. I can assure you that this is actually what it looks like when the precepts are transmitted in China. I have a story to tell in just a moment after we look at Shifu's verse. Our picture biography includes a verse with every story. So the verse goes like this. 正法注释佛为师，相莫当意摩擦师， 公序慧命传宝戒，无柴法身灌溉时. When the proper Dharma is in the world, the Buddha is the teacher. In the Dharma image and Dharma ending ages, we rely on the Pratimoksha, the 250 or 348 precepts of bhikshus and bhikshunis. The master carried on the Buddha's wisdom and transmitted the precious precepts. This is when our Dharma bodies receive their nourishment. All right. Now, let's take a look at the verse, because there's a lot of jewels in here. What is unique about Master Empty Cloud is that he's a Buddhist monk. He's a bhikshu. He's one of those men, and women as well, who heard the Buddha's sound and decided to give their life to following the Buddha. I'm here right now in the Gold Coast Dharma realm, and we have Sangha members here as well. We have bhikshus and bhikshunis who have done the same thing, carrying this tradition forward in many ways, just how the Buddha set it up 2,500 years ago. That's the thing about the Buddhist Sangha, is we represent the longest running fraternity in the world, the longest running sorority in the world. You can say that confidently. Our styles of dress, of eating, of order in the community is in many ways just how the Buddha set it up 2,500 years ago. So Master Empty Cloud has a new monastery on Jizushan. By the way, this monastery is called Zhu Sheng Si. Here is, look at in China how many Zhu Sheng Si there are. 很多很多 Zhu Sheng Si 在中国现在. Oh, 很多. So the one that we want is right here. It is Chongsheng here, Zhu Sheng Si, Zhu Sheng Si, in Yunnan province. Jizushan, here we go. Right there. This is Jizushan, Chickenfoot Mountain. This is Yunnan province. You can see how mountainous this place is. The town, the closest town, is called Dali. Dali. This is Binchuan Xian. The story that we're going to hear later is here, Binchuan Xian. So Master Empty Cloud is up here on the mountaintop. What does it look like there? It looks like this. This is the Dasheng Baodian that Master Empty Cloud built. These are new images, probably after the Cultural Revolution. Okay, these are Shalita. Definitely, this is what Master Empty Cloud put together. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention, today happens to be the 66th anniversary of Master Empty Cloud's entering Nirvana. Today is very auspicious. 今天是那个徐老入涅槃66周年，今天刚好。Here is the Zushita, Shulita. Outside is, for sure, is inscribed the names of the various teachers in the lineage here, down here. The 一代一代的祖师名字就刻到那儿。Let's see here. The images are new because they were probably destroyed, but the buildings. Now, here is Jizushan. That's the pagoda up on top. 弥勒菩萨那个宝塔就在那儿。That's on the Shanding. The Maitreya Bodhisattva's pagoda, the thing that makes Chickenfoot Mountain so special is that little pagoda up there in the top. not so little when you climb all the way up. These are images that replace the ones that the Red Guards destroyed. So here's a schedule. 6 patriarchs. Here's the shaman. Yeah. Let's see here. Here we go. Here we are. So this is the place where our story is taking place, right here. And the remarkable thing about Master Empty Cloud is his ability to function in so many different roles. He built the monastery. Once the monastery is built, he's now doing what the Sangha does in the monastery, which is train future generations of Sangha members. He is 72 years old, and he's transmitting the precepts to 1,000 candidates. It specifies exactly 1,000 candidates. So this is 1911. 78 years later in Shanghai, I took part in a transmission of the precepts, 1989, with 600 monks and nuns. And this was the first time there had been such a large transmission since the liberation of Jiefang. So I have a sense of what it looks like when you have these this many preceptees. My continuing memory of let's see here. My continuing memory of this experience was, let's see here. Here it is. This is what it looked like in 1989. Here is Mingyang Dahashan. And you can see the crowd of preceptees under these old hickory trees in the courtyard. This is at Longhua Si in Shanghai. This is the Jietang and the Dragonflower Monastery. And there was a door that led out to the parking lot where the Longhua Bingguan was operating, the guest house. And I remember one afternoon I had to go keep an appointment at Jing'an Si across town. And I came back, and to get through the Bingguan was a hotel, and there were things that were going on in the hotel. People standing at the check-in counter, and suitcases being sent here and there were restaurants and radios playing music, and it was very much the 20th century, 1989. And I stepped through the door out of the Bingguan back into Longhua Si, and a gentle rain was falling, a misty rain, and in front of me there were 600 men and women kneeling on the stones in the courtyard at Longhua Si in the rain with their palms together, reciting the Buddha's name. And that juxtaposition of the 20th century and a timeless, I might as well have been back in the Buddhist time, where these aspirants, these men and women who were going to receive the precepts in 2 or 3 days, they were simply kneeling in the courtyard to recite the Buddha's name as part of their training. And I remember wondering what age, what world, what time was I in? It was a timeless time. So these moments when the Sangha, 1,000 men and women, come to Jizushan, why? Because they know they're going to get the precepts from Master Empty Cloud. So the quality of the precepts that they're going to receive is unquestionably pure and correct. So they're getting the best possible start into their life as the Sangha. And it says here, the transmitting masters completed 53 days of ceremony. The number of days that you train is up to the transmitting master. At City of 10,000 Buddhas, we do 108 days of preparation. Not every monastery can afford that much time. 53 days was considered formal. That's a month and a half. It's not quite 2 months. You're being prepared to receive the Shamini, Shamanera precepts, novice precepts, Bicho, Bichoni, Bhikshu, Bhikshuni precepts, and the Pusa, Bodhisattva precepts. These are 3 different kinds of trainings that you receive. And also during that 53 days, you're making a transition from the householder's life, where you are potentially a spouse married to a husband or a wife. You are potentially a father or a mother of children. You are absolutely a son or a daughter of parents. You may be a sibling of brothers and sisters. You're transitioning away from a wage earner or a wage holder, being an employee or a boss. You're leaving behind someone who has a bank account, who has a driver's license, who has degrees on the wall from your education, who has training in various trades or occupations or professions. All of these things you're leaving behind so that you can step into the Buddha's community. You are becoming a member of the Rulai Jia Ye, carry on the work of the Tathagata's household. And it's a major, major change. These 53 days are when that transition happens. And of course, you hope that everybody gets the transmission. Everybody makes the transition. Not everyone does, but all the conditions are there for people to learn the basics of your life as a Sangha member. And this is when that happens. So the conditions during these 53 days are pretty stiff. You don't eat your fill every day. You don't sleep comfortably every day. You wait in line a lot with another 999 people who are hoping to do the same thing that you are hoping to do. But to have Master Empty Cloud in front of you as your model, as your role model, as what is possible if you get the foundation solid and if you make the great Bodhi resolve, Fa Da Puti Xin, if you can do that, to be able to see Master Empty Cloud walk through the hallways and to inspect your precepts and to inquire whether you have your robe, your 3 robes, your bowl, your bowing cloth, whether you have any of the communicable diseases, to ask, are you a dragon who has come hiding as a human, masquerading as a human to get the precepts? These traditional methods in the ceremony that inspect every candidate and encourages them to join the Sangha, to take part when you have a teacher like this is something that you ideally never forget, and that keeps you in the Sangha, keeps you a teacher of gods and humans all the way to your last day, your last breath. So this is the fact that his monastery is there to do this, and he built the place, now he's putting it to use. That's such a wonderful renewal of the Dharma in Yunnan province. Xin Jie, Xin Shou Feng Xing, right? The new preceptees received the precepts in faith and vowed to put them into practice. So how wonderful to have 1,000 people begin. To this day, when I travel, because I had the opportunity to be the stand-in, the replacement, 芥末阿舍里, the karma dana master, the confessor master, the actual monk, the elder monk who had the status to be this role, had asthma, and he couldn't make his voice heard. The Jiemo Hoshang, that Karmadana monk, has to say his role, has to say his words at the right time. And so I got the opportunity to stand in for this elder Lao Zige, this elder virtuous monk. I was his voice, so to speak. And when you're one of the three masters there. So to this day in China, when I go various places, either Hangzhou or out in other places in Zhejiang or Jiangxi or even to Chengdu, occasionally monks will come up to me. This happened to me in Singapore last year. Monks will come up and say, "Can I bow to you? You were my teacher in Shanghai back in 1989." So this is this moment when you become a monk. The three masters and seven certifiers who witness your transition are, they say it's people who you carry in front of you the rest of your life as a monastic, because they're the ones who saw you, who witnessed your entry into the Buddhist Sangha. So, okay, precepts transmitted. We talk about jie, ding, hui, precepts, samadhi, and wisdom. We've had precepts. What comes next? Samadhi. Xu, ji, zu, deng, da, chan, qi. The next thing that Master Empty Cloud does to inaugurate his brand new rebuilt monastery is hold a Chan session, a Chan retreat. Chan, da, chan, qi. He is 72 years old. We know that he is a good one for this because just the previous year, when he was in Bangkok, he crossed his legs to prepare for a lecture and didn't move for 9 days. He entered Samadhi for 9 days, unaware that he was going to do that. So he is a good one to lead a Chan session. Let's take a look. Here's how the text goes. Gong jian zu dao shi wei, zong feng bu zhen gu chuan jie, er hou ji ju xing chan qi, 49日 立唱宗风，注重坐香，上殿过堂，唯以整数，唯以整数so one more time， 唯以整数，归月3言，以其有戒生定，有定发挥，是佛足心灯永照。 菩萨法水长流，尽为来记。Okay, this text, by the way, this is Shifu's choice, right? He has the Master Empty Cloud's autobiography, the Nianpu, to work from, but this phrasing is our teacher's rendering of those stories into a wonderful. It is Baihua one, it's not one yin one, but it's close. So he's carrying on as we read these, it's important to note that this text is, every single word is chosen by our teacher, and then further, he adds the verse at the end to put the icing on the cake. So here we go. The master saw that the way of the patriarchs was declining, and that the traditions and reputation of the Chan school were shaky, not solid. In order to revitalize the Chan school, after the transmission of the precepts, he convened a 49-day Chan meditation session. That's 7 weeks. Qi, 7 times 7. He emphasized proper demeanor while sitting, as well as during the formal meal offering. He stressed awesome deportment, as well as strict adherence to monastic rules. Samadhi grows from precepts over time, and then wisdom develops from samadhi. The Master made the mind lamp of the Buddhas and patriarchs to shine forever, and the Dharma water of the Bodhisattvas to flow to the ends of future time. Okay, here's the Chan 7. Here are the monks. Interestingly, people identify what's happening here. It's tea time. Here's the tea kettle. And here are the teacups in the basket. And let's see if the monks are holding them out. Yeah, he's holding them out. This is reminiscent of how Master Empty Cloud got enlightened, because he held out his teacup and the sleepy novice holding the hot water kettle missed the cup and poured the water on his hand, and the cup hit the floor with a ringing sound and echoed in the air. So that's how he woke up. 一念不生全体现. Look at the verse. 六根互动被云者念佛是谁? So what's happening in the inscription here is when even a single thought no longer arises, the entire substance of the Buddha nature manifests. When the 6 sense organs move suddenly, you're covered by clouds. That's a great couplet. 一念六根不生互动全体云被 let's see 全体现被云者. So it's a good matching couplet. And then this one here, 念佛是谁? Keep in mind who is reciting the Buddha's name. Who is mindful of the Buddha? This is our Hua To. This is the Hua Chan, Hua To Chan. There's a clock on the wall, tick tock, tick tock. Incense is rising from the censer, and the monks are all wrapped up in full lotus with a blanket, holding their legs in. So that's a really good illustration. The artist obviously spent time in a Chan session, because every detail here is exact. What does Shifu's verse say? 楞严大定妙总持 三摩禅那无所思 若问直直习来意 匡心歇处即菩提. Shifu has used his poetic skill to slightly massage the language of these familiar verses that he tweaks and makes them fit into the verse. Shurangama, great samadhi, is a wonderful dharani. This is lines from the Shurangama mantra. Samo chano wusosu. Samodhi is samadhi. Chano is dhyana. So Shifu's punning here. Wusosu, don't think anything. Think nothing. There's no thoughts that stay. You can't stop your thinking, but you don't cling to them either. Row 1, if you want to ask, pointing directly to the mind that came from the West, question mark, mad mind, when it stops, just that is Bodhi. The Chan Samadhi, there's a typo, get rid of that apostrophe. It's the Shurangama Samadhi exists without need for thoughts. If somebody asks you about that mind from the West, tell them once the mad mind stops, just that is Bodhi. There we go. All right. So, Master Empty Cloud finished his life. We know that today is the anniversary of his nirvana. He entered nirvana at True Suchness Monastery, Zhenrusi, in Cloud Dwelling Mountain, Yunjushan, in Jiangxi Province, above the city of Nanchang, on a twisty mountain road that you take for 30 minutes, 40 minutes to get up to the top of Cloud-Dwelling Mountain. And our Dharma friend, Master Chunwan, who has been here at the Gold Coast Dharma Realm, is planning a Guoji Chanxiu Zhongxin, an international center for the practice of Chan. And he's building a Chan hall that can sit 1,000 meditators at once. So huge plans, and he's not long from the grand opening. That grand opening will be quite special. It's not far from being ready. So our visit last year, the Chan hall, the Chan hall that is being used now in the monastery, separate from the International Chan Center, the International Center for the Study of Chan. The Chan hall that's being used every day, we were invited to do a sit in there. And I had to laugh because the monks in charge of the Chan hall are these young, vigorous bhikshus who could very easily be Marines. They could very easily be full-service military. These guys are tough and strong and vibrant, and they look indestructible, and they're everything about them is cut from steel. You know, every motion is, okay, do this, rise, walk, run, chi. They're all, you know, just like that. They're vigorous is the word. Jing jin, yo, jing jin. So I say it, I have to laugh because I really saw how old I have gotten. I used to be one of those monks who would be right there with them every step. And now, as I, you know, they were very critical of the fact that we were wearing our precept sashes, because you don't in a Chan hall. So Shifu insisted that we keep our precept sash on as a part of the biqiu xiang, the sign of a monk. And so they looked at it, they kind of like closed one eye. Well, you're from America, what do you know? Okay, you can wear your robe. So, and then as soon as we started walking, the monks critiqued every bit of our wei. The way you swing your hands to the right degree above your waist is prescribed. It's done correctly. And your one hand goes up, the other hand goes sideways. One hand goes up, the other goes sideways. And so I realized that the Chan hall, the way you conduct yourself in the Chan hall is no joke. It is done correctly, or you will be corrected. And so I was with Jin Chuan and Jin Wei, our younger monks from Redwood Vihara from Berkeley Monastery. And they were eating this up. It's like, oh, cool, this is the real way to do it. I need to learn all this stuff. So Master Chunwan said, 你们应该回来学习如何入禅堂，怎么样入禅堂，怎么样出禅堂，禅堂怎么样在禅堂里边行住坐卧，欢迎回来学习。So he invited us to come back and learn the right way to walk, stand, sit, and lie down in the Chan hall. Because when you do a 7-day, 7 times 7, Qi 49 days, as he says here, 49日, you stay in the Chan hall. You sleep in the back of the hall. You put the back of the Chan dang, the Chan bench. And everything you eat there, everything is done. Actually, I take it back. Shan Dian Guo Tang. In this style, you go into the dining hall, but you go in together in file. Everybody gets the same food. You can signal the amount. The Guo Tang is how much you want, but you do it silently. You make no noise with your chopsticks on the bowl. Everything is done by gesture. If you want more salt, If you want more vinegar, you gesture as the server comes by. Not a single word is spoken, and you wait until everybody is done. If you're eating more, everybody waits for you and stares at you, right? And then you all go out together and brush your teeth and all. So everything is done so that what? You don't have to think. You don't have to make choices. You don't have to activate your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And you can still put food in your body. You can still get into the Chan Hall and out of the Chan Hall on time. The point is to keep your mindfulness unbroken. So from 行住坐卧不离这个, walking, standing, sitting, lying down, do not separate from this. Do not leave this behind. And the 这个, Shifu says, 行住坐卧不离这个, 离了这个当面错过. As soon as you leave this behind, right before your eyes, you've made a mistake. And the this is 念佛是谁, the 话头. You are asking yourself, who is in there? Who is dragging this skin bag around? Who is dragging this corpse around? What was my face before my parents gave birth to me, before I came from my mother? Who was I? You're investigating your fundamental identity at a deep, profound level. You are da, qi, you are striking the seventh consciousness in your mind, the source of thoughts and language. So it's a profound, millennial-old, 1,000-year-old method of transforming consciousness into wisdom. And it still works. It still works. This method is passed on. This is really our zhongfeng. This is the method of our school, is operating the huatou technique, the meditation topic technique. And it's done here at Jizushan by Master Empty Cloud in the traditional way. It's done that way at Yunjushan Zhenru Si. And it was really heartwarming to see these young monks at Zhenru Si, who, as I say, they look like Marines. They were so vigorous and into it. They were totally into it, inspecting all of the 100 people who were meditating together as we walked, as we sat. If you nod off and start to snore, you don't get a second chance. They come right up with the incense board and remind you that you're supposed to be awake. So, wonderful experience. And I think our young monks will probably accept the offer to return and learn everything about the traditional way. Because this goes beyond culture. This is not Chinese. This is not Western. This is not Indian. This is the Buddha's method that Master Empty Cloud carried along to perfection. Alrighty, so that's going to do it for today. Remind everybody it'll be 6:30 in California next week. It will be same 12:30 here in Australia and 10:30 in China and Korea. Here is Master Empty Cloud on a Chan bench right there. Yes, indeed. That's what he looked like just a few years after, actually 58 years. 40, let's see, 59, 48 years. He had 48 years to go after that event on Jizushan. In this picture, he is 118. He has 2 more years of his life here. So, what a remarkable monk. Alrighty, shall we dedicate merit and send out the goodness of this lecture series? Thank you all for joining, everybody. Don't forget, next week, Daylight Savings in California puts it 1 hour earlier. Please make a wish. Now, to be clear, tomorrow, our Avatamsaka lecture will be 12:30 again. The following week is when we start, push it back to 1:30. All right. find in giving unity. May our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of angels into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. And then, before we're done, we'll bow to Guanyin Bodhisattva. Please join me. First bow. Second bow. And third bow. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Okay, that's all for us for today. See you all next week. Amitofo, everybody. Bye now.